morning, and thank you for keeping it Citizen Television. Bright and early, we are up just for you. It is the Social Hour. Karibu sana, and this is an interactive session that we usually invite you also to be part of. We invite your feedback and comment on the topics that we usually discuss right here on the program. And of course, it's just a few days to Valentine. Sijui vile umejipanga. Valentine is coming. Shasikia hiyo wimbo. Acha nisimalize. Anyway, guys, we want to talk about, making love something that is not an event, something that is not happening in one day, like so many people right now having plans out there, and it's just about what will be happening around the weekend. But how do you keep the fire burning in a relationship? How do you sustain the momentum before Valentine even post such that Valentine is quite a big deal? How do you get to a point where mapenzi imekuwa normal kwa maisha yako, the passion is there, the energy? Wacha nisiongee sana. Kuna experts wenye watafungua hiyo kitabu, and they are here in studio with me, a panel of four, all constituted. Karibuni sana, gentlemen and ladies, fully balanced. Nini nimetulia leo sana?
Tumetulia. Mimi, kutulia ni constant.
Where is your boyfriend?
You are sitting at home. That song is for me, but it's okay.
Uko fiti lakini?
Niko salama, never been better. I'm really enjoying 2025 so far. It's just amazing. Happy, love, good feelings. I hope you guys mko salama pia.
Yeah, good. I'm good. Personally, I can't complain. Ken?
Mimi niko sawa. I rarely do this, but I promised I will do this. Salamu nyingi sana kutoka watu wa Kamulu. We spent the entire weekend with them, talking to couples, preparing them for these festivities of love. So I said we rarely do this on air, but I will do it. Watu wa Kamulu nimefikisha salamu.
Mpendane huko Kamulu. Wapendane. Na mpoke salamu.
Unasikia amesema festivities na hilo.
Weekend is a big
mko serious hivi?
Unajua Waluya wanaenda ushago.
Guys, we are sorry guys. I didn't know it was that serious, but niko salama. Always shout out to my dad, Mr. Josh. He's always watching. Amewasalimia sana kama kawaida. Yeah, niko salama.
Tumepokea. Yeah, CJ.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm awesome. Can't complain.
All right. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
Any plans for the weekend?
Festivities.
Umejipanga sawa sawa?
No, I'm good.
You're good. Yeah? Tunataka watu waine watano kama CJ. That's why we are here. It's quite a big deal. Saizi unajua kuna watu wamekosana because of issues of Valentine. Kuna wenye watakosana weekend because of Valentine. How can you make every day Valentine in your relationship? Hiyo ndo kenye tunataka kuongea this morning, si ndio? Keeping the fire burning. Ken, tufafanulie topic kwanza. The aspects of fire.
I look at the fire of love like a bonfire. That before you enjoy that fire that is burning sana, you must start from somewhere. Kuna kuni za kuchachisha. Zile kidogo. Love always grows with time. That kama ni kuni ya kuchachisha, kuna what you loved, what you admired about this person. Maybe you admired how they walk, you admired how they talk. There is something that attracted you to them. And then you started putting the small logs together. What are these small logs? The plans that you have together, maybe enjoying dinners, enjoying dates. By the way, it's very important for people to understand that in as much as you're planning for the 14th, every day should be a 14th. There are ups and downs about the 14th. Shiro is not that happy because we had our own plans. Alikuwa anataka kupelekwa mahali, but unfortunately nitampeleka mahali kwingine kazi because I'll be having a couple's dinner that I'll be the main speaker on Friday. But those small logs are also very important. But it's also good to have the big logs that now sustains. Big logs are the long-term goals that you have together as a couple. So how do you sustain this fire? Is you need to understand at what particular time should you put what type of firewood. Ni ya kuchachisha. It's okay to have fun together. When was the last time, I keep asking couples, when was the last time you actually went out and played? Kucheza. Unajua hata ile kupokpoka asubuhi umeamka unapoka mtu we wacha na it's never that serious. Dull moments in relationship make even the love to subside. You need to make it fun. Mumeka kwa traffic, stop discussing about matatu venye kuna jam na karau. Start doing some things together. Recently, a friend of mine introduced me to a card game, meant for couples, where you just pick cards, read something, and then see how well do you know each other. And tunasoma tu unajua ati where did we go for our first date? Nilipeleka Shiro 2009, the first date. It's good to reminisce those moments so that you understand that relationship burnout will come. At one particular time, utaangaliana mushangae, do I really love this person anymore? But you have to remind yourself, there are days that I used to love this person. There are days that I couldn't sit down or spend an entire day without talking to this person. So take that phone. Don't think that love now comes and inafika plateau, that you can never do anything more extra to make it exciting. Every day should be a day to excite your love.
Watu wanda umekuwa na mtu 20 years, 15 years. What else?
But wakamulu niliwauliza Sunday, how long have you been together? Do you know there's a couple walikuwa 35 years and above? Hata niliwaita maumau. Because it's good. It's good to understand that people grow in love, not get older together. You grow in love together.
All right. Aha, CJ. Wewe pia nataka hii fire, let's set the boundaries. Tusiende sana ni mapema, lakini hii fire tunaongelelea kwa relationship from where you sit. How would you best define it? Keeping the fire burning. How do you break it down for people to understand what fire are we talking about?
When we use the term fire, then it becomes nearly sensational. So people feel that they have to have a certain level of excitement about it. But the truth is, the logs that Ken is talking about are the ones that sustain the fire. So without the logs, you have no fire, which means that the things that actually keep the fire don't feel like the fire. They're just the structures and the systems that you have put around your relationship. And one very key one, which we always share with Roberta, is communication. It's as simple as that, because even as you grow into 20, 30, 40 years, you're changing, you're growing, your tastes are becoming different, you're being challenged by conflicts that you have had, needs that are now not being met. Probably when you met this person, their needs were something else. At this particular point, they may have a certain different need. People assume, for example, women will grow older and just keep on growing with you. If they were supporting your dreams, then maybe she gets to 40 and now she wants to do her own stuff. But the man will be feeling like, I've provided for you everything. I've given you a house, I've bought you a car, I've got you all this. But maybe now this woman wants to come to self-actualization. So the needs have shifted. If there is no proper communication, she begins feeling stifled in that relationship. So I believe that the way to keep this fire burning is constant communication, whether in conflict or in good times, at any time. You see, you can't play those games with somebody you're angry with. You must have solved issues. And sometimes the more people get into conflict and do not get to resolve the conflict, the more they lose that friendship side, so that it becomes so much work to even come back to the place where they can even share a meme or a reel or something. So they get back into the place of, now serious conversations, because they're each trying to protect themselves. One person is angry, one person feels unsafe. So it comes back to what is the level of communication and what's the quality of communication that we have as a couple.
Okay, Roberta, did you see it go that direction? I thought in Dubai, mamishe traffic, maua, those kind of things are the ones that keep the fire burning. Historia, communications, what?
To be honest, kitu yenye naonanga ikishow up kwa secure relationships is a lot of boredom. Because let's be honest, consistency, discipline, consistent communication, it's hard work and it's boring. Not everyone wants to do the hard work. Sometimes the logs look like just sitting together in silence. it's called parallel play. Like your person is in the kitchen washing dishes, you're in the sitting room on your laptop. You guys are not speaking with each other, but the fact that you're able to share space together and coexist, and there's peace, and you're feeling happy. Sometimes utakuwa kwa kitchen unapika na unafikiria, oh, my man is sitting on the couch. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling just to exist, you know.
You feeling inaweza kuja tu kama fire iko like
well, it's something you build consistently. Unaona CJ na Ken wameongea wamesema the word constant na consistent mara kadhaa. Kwa sababu hizi ni vitu unafanya daily. Jana niliona madam fulani akiongea TikTok. She was talking about, you know, Valentine's Day, and she was saying how when you're building your relationship consistently, when every day you're putting in the work, Valentine's even feels like it's just normal, because you still receive the communication, you receive the gifts, you receive the love, you receive all these things that make you feel loved. You receive them daily. Na si ati ile the other side of the coin where it's just a normal day, where someone ignores you the whole day, they don't talk to you, they don't acknowledge you, they don't acknowledge it's a special day, so they try to put you down by saying, it's just a normal day like other days, when on normal days they do nothing for you. They're not consistent, they don't play with you, they don't speak with you. So that consistency, it matters a lot, and it's in figuring out who you're with. But I want to bring back, Ken had brought it up in the group chat. He was talking about self-love, because I think self-love is the inception of any other love that we can ever create or want or desire. Because once you become secure within yourself, you work on yourself to become this person that who communicates, who loves, who gifts, who speaks, who listens. You can only settle in quotes for someone who is only better or on the same level as you.
And it matches your energy.
Yeah. So easy gifting zenye unajifanyanga, mtu wako atakufanyia na pia wewe utamfanyia jueni gifter. Easy words of affirmation zenye unajiambianga consistently, I'm beautiful, I look good. It's going to be normal for your partner to give you the same love if that's your love language, because it's what you've surrounded yourself with. It's what you're expecting because you give it. So this fire, for it to be burning, for you to get there, you have to just love yourself more than you can even expect from someone else, because it is in giving that people match your energy, and they're like, Roberta likes to go to Dubai. Okay, let's go to Dubai.
Does it? Okay. So far I've picked 3 key things. A lot has been said, but consistency, that's number 1. Like, it has to be, for the fire to keep burning, you have to keep working on it and focus on the logs, the things that make the fire burn. There's the aspect of communication, there's the aspect of self-love. Tutaendelea kupeana hizo tips tukisonga, but just to go back to when we were starting, QT, don't you feel like these guys are watering down Valentine? It should be a big deal. A special day.
Mesema ni festivities.
You know, like it should be a big day, don't you think?
Nimesikia imeitwa festivities, but there's a reason why we have birthdays, we have Christmas, we have whatever these days. It's not bad to appreciate your person on Valentine's Day, even if you appreciate them every day, though it becomes a norm. When you send your person flowers like once every month, hata usipotuma hiyo day ya Valentine's, atajua tu zitakuja tu, like maybe hata zilikuja fast, so I don't really need them on 14th. But I think people should, personally, I think people should go all out on Valentine's Day. There's a reason why we have 14th of Feb. Yes. We know the story of Valentine's Day, so why not? I mean, kama wewe ni chali, mbona usi-surprise mama? Like,
the girls.
No. Because, acha nikwambie. Kuna zile occasions zenye, ni girls, baby girl, send them the flowers, send them the chocolates, and if you know that your person, kama unajua tu mama anapenda hizo vitu, mbona usifanye, buy them a gift. Kama anapenda jewelry, mbaye. Kama anapenda kupelekwa hiyo dinner, why don't you just take her out? What will it cost you? Honestly, tu ile tu kiukweli. Why not do it for her? Because kama mimi ni communicator na communicate communicate and nasema, baby, mi napenda Valentine's Day. Why not do it for me? I love when my birthdays you do this and this for me. At the end of the day, tumesema ni communication, what CJ said and everyone else. Like, it's always about communication. Communicate to your person. Please make sure that they don't need to read in between the lines. Tell them, napenda Valentine's Day. Nataka unifanyie. Imagine say it. Sema sai ipitoke. Because you're expecting the man to read you. This man, hata wanaume tu tunajua venye huwa operate. Like, utafikiria think yeye atakusoma. Unajua, unafikiria yeye atakusoma, atajua feelings zako. Sasa utaamka umekasirika Valentine's Day. Sasa mbona ukasirike?
Ama unakaa hiyo siku unangoja surprise.
The surprise is on you.
Uko job, uko job umekaa hivi unangoja atutaitiwa flowers, atutaitiwa nini? Look, just tell you. Maana nataka utaanza kumwimbia January, mwambie ni aje, Valentine's is important to me, my birthday is important to me, Christmas is important to me. Please, nibaie tu gift, nibaie flowers, nibaie nini, kwanza nitumanishie job. Wewe ni nini itakuwa imekucost? Hiyo communication, and I'm telling you Safin, when you communicate to your partner and you tell them what you want, they will always, if they really love you, they will always do it for you. You want to go out for dinner, why don't you just tell them, by the way, Valentine's Day, mimi nataka unipeleke dinner, we're going to dress up, we're going to do this and this. And if they truly love you, they're going to do it for you. Because the reason why most relationships zinakuanga boring, we stop communicating, we stop saying what we want. Because alikuwa ananikatia. Si tukidate alikuwa ananikatia, alikuwa ananifanyia hizi vitu. So sasa juu nimeingia box ameacha, mkumbushe mwambie, we cheza kaa wewe. Kwani zile flowers ziliendaga wapi? Zile chocolate ziliendaga wapi? Zile madina ulikuwa unanipeleka, ulikuwa unanipick job. Mbona siku hizi unipick job?
Ulikuwa
marketing principle.
If you don't communicate to your person, utakasirika bure. Na ndo maana madem, nili realize women, we wake up angry every time because you've not communicated your feelings to your man. Yeah. So he will just go on with the day as usually, anafikiria kwa sawa. So wewe unakasirika. So please, msikasirike madem. Ambia mtu wako zile vitu zenye unataka. Mwambie akubaie flowers, mwambie akubaie chocolate.
Na mtu wako, chali yako.
Narudi kwa hiyo point ya graph kwenda hivi, like when you are starting iko huku, alafu the more you make up pamoja inaenda chini. But kuna kitu amesema hapo very controversial. She has almost made it seem like Valentine is all about
women.
No,
but it is.
It isn't.
It isn't.
Yeah.
It isn't.
Is it?
That's where we get it wrong. If umesema tunajua story ya Valentine's, St. Valentine's. Actually, if you understand the real story of St. Valentine's, he actually prohibited young people from getting married. And he said you will not sustain the gushing love that you think is always there. And St. Valentine's was very clear when he was teaching. He said, just make sure that you're ready to be a giver and a recipient. That's the point that most people don't understand. Kuna tofauti ya Women Appreciation Day na St. Valentine's Day of Love. Actually, in the Catholic culture, 13th of February, we always celebrate the sick. Yeah, and you know most of the calendars are dictated by the Roman Catholic calendar. 13th of February is a day to celebrate the sick, and 14th of February is given to celebrate those people who celebrated the ones who were sick, and now you are giving thanks for the gift of love. Yeah, so hii si kusema ati sasa ni Bobby to recipient. As you expect to be given, what are you preparing to give? Hapo ndio swali inakuanga kubwa sana. That yes, 14th, si kila mtu alianza kuibia hii 14th from the 1st of February, saa hii tuko date 11th na bado tuna prepare. Mimi na prepare how I will scream kwa sababu ya venye nitapewa surprise. In the meantime, am I also preparing to make her scream for giving her the surprise?
Your statement though.
See, hii curriculum yenu.
There's usually that challenge because today we're talking about keeping the fire burning. That means that there is something that used to happen.
Right.
So we are trying to sustain it. And hapo ndio kuna kuanga na shida. Mkianza dating, mkianza relationship, when you get married the first few years, honeymoon inakuanga yani vitu ziko sawa. Then suddenly, the more you stay, the more the graph just, you become so familiar, the relationship becomes like sort of like a routine. I don't know what usually happens. Because hapo sasa ndio tunajikuta tumekaa chini tunaongea, where is the fire? Where is the passion? Where is the, you know. Yeah, so what usually happens that, do we let like our guard down or something like that?
Let me go back a little bit to, you see this whole conversation, it wouldn't make any sense to my grandparents.
Yeah.
we have adopted certain cultural stuff as well. And sometimes that's where these conflicts come from. We'll argue over whether it is for the lady or for the man, and then Ken will say it's the Roman calendar that dictates all of these things. So how are Africans showing up in love? Before, because Africans used to love as well. So the generation of my grandparents probably thought if you have built a house and have land, you have given flowers to this lady. It wasn't this sentiment. And sometimes what we forget is that the men that Cutie will date are an offshoot of that kind of thinking. This is what they have seen men do. They probably never saw their fathers or grandfathers showing up sentimentally. So it is still very foreign. It is when they come up on shows like this that they hear you're supposed to buy flowers, you're supposed to do things. So one of the things that I would say is you need to learn the person you are with and learn how they show up. And do not judge, you know, it is said, don't judge a fish by how it climbs a tree, right? So do not judge them by what you think is your concept of love, which may be very foreign to them and very strange.
Communication.
Because we're in this city, but not everybody grew up in the city. Some people grew up in very conservative places, rural places, so their culture that they're used to, and you know, relationships, we first learn them from the families we grew up in. So what they are used to is so different. So we come into the city, we show up at work, we dress up, we've learned how to, you know, put up everything else. That doesn't mean that we are as European as the rest of the people. So I think this is something that we will keep on having.
Are you trying to say that we've sort of like, for lack of a better term, westernized
the whole
way
love
of
concept?
Love?
Yes, it is very westernized. It is very, very westernized.
Is it wrong though?
It is what it is.
It is not wrong, but then we also then have to have grace for people who have not adapted to that, because it's a cultural thing. It's just like saying, you know, a wedding has to be in church in white gowns or something. That's also a very Western thing. It's the Africans used to get married as long as families came together. Today, two people will go to the AG and dress up, and their parents don't even know that they're getting married. You know, so there are these things that we have to ask ourselves: what is the root of whatever we are doing? I can show up with a gift, and I can take you to Dubai, and then give you a gift over there, but you know we are not okay. And right there, people break up even after a gift or a birthday or something, because somebody knows somebody's not taking responsibility for something that they've done in the relationship, and they're trying to cover it up with a gift. So all of these things, the external things, only work when the foundational things are all right. And so when we talk about, you know, how do we lose these things? We lose them when we start taking each other for granted. We lose them when the discipline becomes hard work. When now you feel, man, I can't keep doing this every day. So you think it's obvious. Before, you would communicate about what you want. Now you feel the other person needs to know. How can they not know? It is so obvious. Everybody knows. You know, the way Cutie normally brings a reality, and I tell her, Cutie, that reality is not everybody's reality. So somebody just thinks, why should I tell him that I want to go anywhere? He should know.
He's a man.
Because now you have lost, both sides normally lose the drive to impress the other person. And sometimes you can't blame them, because there's work as well, both outside and inside. You see, when I'm meeting somebody once in a week, I can set aside that time, show up in my energy. But then you're waking up together, or you're seeing each other often and frequently. You come back sometimes, you're drained, you're tired, you have bills to talk about as well. You have other things to deal with. Maybe there's a relative who is not well, a parent, or you've got a sibling who is going through a tough time. All these things show up in your relationship. So how you navigate these changing seasons will determine whether you'll still keep the fire. Sometimes we don't know how to navigate that, because we only signed up for the lovey-dovey. And we didn't know that the moment I am coming with Cutie, Mr. Josh is showing up in that space. Whatever happens to him is coming to this conversation. How he is coming up over here.
All right. So, hey, there's a lot here to how do you separate life from the romance and the relationship? Because life will happen at some point. I'm coming back to that. But Roberta, he has talked about constantly reminding and showing up. It can be a lot of work, though. I mean, you'd assume that the moment you've established the ground rules, mtu amekuelewa. So unakuanga na hiyo face ya kusomana. I mean, ushajua napenda Valentine. Why do I have to keep reminding you? Or you know I love this, or I love that, I hate this. Why do I keep, you know?
And this happens, let me speak for women, from a point of view, women. Because sisi ndo complain sana. He's changed. He's not calling as much as he used to. He's not showing up. He's not texting me. He doesn't come home early. But you need to realize that most of the things that happen in relationship, or even just in life, in any relationship, not just romantic, it's usually give and take. If you're seeing you guys are on a frequency, it's important for you to ask yourself, am I the one influencing where we're at? Am I the one who's causing what's happening? Not just to rush to blame the other person, like he doesn't call me. Think about even you. How are you showing up in the relationship before? Akikukatia ulikuwa unatengeneza nywele. Saizi unakuanga na matuta daily. Of course it's going to change the dynamics, and it's not intentional. It's not a tea. No, it's true. Maybe the boys can tell me what they think after this. But it's true. Like, maybe the reason he liked you in the beginning is because, you know, your hair is voluptuous and it looks good when it's done. And that's one of the things that really attracted him. Superficial, but still valid. Because at the end of the day, we have to be attracted to each other for us to keep that fire burning. For me to even want to bring a log, I have to like you. I have to like the way you look.
But how can you look like this all the time? Let's be real. Unajua mkidate ni sawa.
Jua mwonani sana.
Date kikafiti, unajua. Lakini unaishi pamoja. Not 1 year, not 2 years, not 3. It's maybe 15. Or, how do you look like this, Roberta?
But you can.
And that's exactly.
You can look like
and that's where it comes the personal self-love. I'll give an example of Cutie. Cutie goes to the gym religiously, whether she's sad, tired, grieving. She'll tell you guys, she shows up at the gym. Why? Because it's an intention she set for herself. She's doing it because it improves her mental health. It makes her feel good about herself. It makes her love her body. It makes her sexier. So before she's doing it for anybody, it is for her. She wants to look a certain way. So saizi mtu akimkatia, anamkatia juu anakaa hivyo. Juu ako na hiyo discipline. Juu
mwenyewe believe in it, and she wants to look like that from within.
Exactly. She's not doing it for anyone. Even me, when you see me showing up like this, I'm very I talked about throwing away those socks and panties that I told you guys laughed. That's something I do intentionally.
Tukutane saa 8 usiku. Imagine.
Let me finish.
Let's be real.
That's what I'm getting to. I might not wear heels and a dinner dress, you know, to bed at night and have a full face of makeup. But I'm still conscious about, you know, how I feel, my energy, my hygiene, the clothes I wear. I'm not going to dress up like I hate myself, or I'm tired, or I'm bored, or I'm angry, or because it's for me, it's for you. I promise you, the things you do for yourself, hata yo, najua sengine, tunalalanga na hizo t-shirt za sengenge ni ngombe. Lakini, utarealize.
Usiseme ukweli.
Na paka power.
I need to tame you the way you're going.
Utarealize, uki-change hata maybe zile nguo ulala nazo. Useme, I'll be wearing silk when I go to bed. I'll be wearing perfume. It looks like it's not something you can do every day, or it's not practical. But I promise, once you put yourself in that mindset that this is how you're showing up for yourself, you realize even things like the quality of your sleep is better. The way you wake up feeling in the morning is better. Things like moisturizing your skin. Unajipakanga mafuta vizuri. Ukienda kulala, skin imecrack, umekauka. Why? Because nobody will see me. Nobody will care. But you have to remember, this is not about anybody. It's not about anyone seeing you. It's not about anyone liking you. So the way you live your life, the person around you also is consistently, you know, growing like you. If they see you dress well, even then they want to match up. If they see you speak well to yourself, it's so automatic. The energy is so yin and yang. Like muna mesh mnaingiana. There is no way utakuja. Let me tell you, this is a practical example I give all the time. in my house, I consistently have fresh flowers. And when my friends come over, they bring me fresh flowers. I don't ask for flowers. I don't say, cutie, pitia kwa venda uninunulie maua. She just shows up with flowers. And that's because she knows, you know, for me to make Bobby feel loved, because this is how she makes herself feel loved. So these things for... nilikuwa narudi hapo. Sisi madem tunapenda, Kenya Kitu alikuwa anasema, tunapenda complain before kuuliza, where is he coming from? Maybe he's not taking me out on dates because I'm not showing I like to go on dates anymore. I'm more comfortable just chilling in the house. And it could be innocent. By the way, even him is seeing how comfortable you look in that t-shirt of yours, imeraruka. Anaona tu uko poa mshini. Hataki kukutoa hapo kwa couch ukisikia poa. But you see, the communication, the you showing up for yourself before it is ever for anyone else, it's so important. Because tukimaliza kuongea hizo ma feelings complex communication, attraction is still important. The way you show up, the way you speak, then your energy, not just the way you look, the way you feel about yourself, it shows up in the relationship.
I want to hear that point from a man's perspective, tumalizane na hiyo story.
Mimi kwanza niko na shida sana.
Assume that the moment you've won somebody over, that's it. Yeah. Most people wanajiachilia. They feel like, si ni mtu wangu already, so you don't need to put in the work. I mean, how disastrous is that?
I have a serious problem, especially when it comes to dressing up when going to sleep. Unajifanya ni kama unaenda combat war at night.
Okay, unajua ina depend which.
So you should be as easy as, if you cannot afford not to wear anything, wear the lightest.
Okay, sawa.
Wear the lightest. And that's why we have to go out of our way to sustain the love.
What you mean is, this story ya kuvaa jacket, jeans,
human warmth will always sustain you. Human warmth.
He's promoting
cuddling. Unaishi huko Kinoo huko.
Wachana Kinoo. Kinoo was just chilling.
Baridi.
Wacha Kinoo. Hata flyover yenyewe. Do more, pata blanketi mob, ndio mkue closer. Actually, I was preparing some couples for marriage, and I was telling them, a newly married couple should not even have a bed that is larger than a 4x6, because the closer you are together, the better. Men will always be visual beings. However old they are, walk with your grandfather. My grandfather is still alive at the age of 90, and he will still tell me some of these things. Men are visual beings. The moment you assume that because you got married, your husband became blind, you started missing the point. The moment you assumed that because now you have a boyfriend, you're comfortable, you have to sustain the love by what the man is seeing in you. Otherwise, he will start seeing something else. You're going through your man's phone, because I know this is a habit now. You're going through your man's phone and he's looking at semi-nude people. It simply tells you have been overdressing.
Really? The problem could be...
No, sometimes it's okay to look at things from a perspective of your perspective. Women will always be audio beings. And so a man must continuously tell what you used to tell. You're pretty. I love your figure. Umetoka salon, hata kama spend 10 hours but came out looking the same way you went in.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't worth it.
You know, there's a problem with women. They will spend 10 hours but look almost the same. You need to notice something and tell to the ear. That sound that you give, that voice, that sound of affirmation, it's a love language. And what you show up with as a woman, maybe you are making up. During the day, yes. You know, most of the time I say, we do not dress to please ourselves. We actually dress to impress the other people. But it must go beyond the cosmetics now when love steps in. That besides the dress code that I used to see you in, is there anything else I am admiring about the real you? What are you showcasing to me? How are you presenting yourself to me? How are you now even cooking? You know, this generation of I cannot cook. My man will never sleep hungry because I know so many restaurants. Where? What about if we go broke? Can we even start learning some things together? What am I being taught? What am I teaching? What am I receiving? Do we have that time where we are spending our own time together? So please don't kill the vibe But again, don't make it so monotonous that what you used to do is what you're still doing now. You can learn new things. The reason why we have this show is what? So that we can continually educate the masses. And not just this show. We need other people to be educating others, and you continually learn. This generation, as CJ was saying about how my grandmother used to be flattered is not the same way, but there is only one thing that is consistent. The love language that used to be communicated there was for the audience then. What is the love language of the audience now? Learn it. And know what, don't do what other people are doing. Kuna watu hawapendi dinners. Yeah, because that to me, to them is a PDA. They love their love language being told to them alone and making their small world seem like that is heaven. So don't do what others are doing so that you can belong to the society. Love languages is yours. And if you can allow me, when I was teaching last Sunday, I told the couples I have 10 points, but I only gave them 9. And when somebody asked me the question, what is the 10th? I told them the 10th belongs to you. Because I cannot tell you what you will do entirely. Yeah, you need to learn what works for you. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
That's really smart.
Yeah. Just to pick up from that, I know you have a lot to add, yes? You see, watu wakinoa by the way. Ni salamu, yeah? But tumekata hiyo story ya kuvaa jumper, hoodie, nini when you're going to bed. Please stop that thing. Hata kama kuna baridi, the other way.
Give me an example.
Well, I think, I think you know how people dress up in the house. It goes beyond just the dressing. It's how they feel.
Yes, that's the point.
It's how they feel. If somebody doesn't feel energetic, they probably will not. You know, there are changes that come. For example, for ladies, when babies now show up in the picture, their attention is going somewhere else. You're raising these kids, you've got to make sure they've eaten, if they're going to school, the homework, prepare them for the next day. So much energy is spent that sometimes this person will forget that they need to take care of themselves, because all they want is just to go and sleep. Probably again, sometimes it's about safety. How safe do I feel with you in that bed? That is true even for a man. Right? He may be sleeping there and he's not very sure he's safe. Not necessarily threatened physically, but there's such a disconnect that even when he's coming there, he's very tense. Or she could be very tense coming. So she doesn't feel like she needs to put on anything that is as light as what Ken is talking about. And it becomes very subconsciously done. So this is where still the communication part comes in. It's not a complexity, Bobby. It's a basic thing. Because if I'm not feeling safe, even being with you in the same room, how am I feeling safe being with you in the same bed? And if I have to come to that bed, probably I feel I need to protect myself. So sometimes you find there are underlying issues there, and then probably somewhere along the line somebody just begins to demand, well, you're my wife or you're my girlfriend, this needs to happen. But they've not sorted out stuff that they needed to sort out. So then the other person resents even coming to that bed, or they resent the act and whatever.
They sneak in when you're already asleep.
So it doesn't then look like a love thing, and that just keeps on drawing people apart. I think that it is also important in making the other person feel safe in understanding what season are they in now. Maybe for 9 months, 10 or 2 years, this is a breastfeeding mother. So you may not expect them to do a lot, but now you need to understand where they are at. And that's the place where then you come in and affirm them, because they're already dealing with their own insecurities, whether you will want them again, you know, they have milk all over them and that kind of stuff. They've put on weight. So in that particular season, it's the other person's work now to give. When they get out of that, the conversation then changes, like maybe now they need to start working on themselves to get to a particular place. Now, some ladies never get out of that. They just let themselves slide because they feel they're not who they used to be physically. And so they just let themselves slide, which brings the thing of the self-love that comes in, self-awareness. Is your physical body all that you have? so that if you lose that shape by having a few kgs, so now you give up on everything. Because you can still work around your new weight and still feel and look beautiful. You don't have to slump just because you're not who you used to be before the babies came. So it's a lot of personal, intentional work, first of all for yourself, and then the both of you. Understanding you're in different seasons. One person will be, QT and I are football fans, so we both attack, we both defend. There are times when your partner will be weak, you show up. There are times when you are weak, they show up. There are times when both of you are strong, you both show up.
QT, what makes you feel like there is a lot of familiarity that is not healthy in a relationship, that sort of like the relationship has turned into a routine from a lady's perspective?
Inaitwa kuzoeana. You know, sometimes when you stay with someone, inafika mahali, it's like mnazoeana sana. And if you allow it, as we were talking in the makeup room and we were saying, if you allow someone to call you brother, they're gonna see you as brother in that relationship. Buddha. The minute you allow someone to call you Buddha, you become Buddha for the rest of your life, and they forget the babe, they forget the hand, they forget all the loving words. But I'll go back to what I said when we were starting this conversation.
But I see it differently, though. I mean,
no,
there's some level of familiarity that can be safe.
I understand that, but you know, there's some people who don't know boundaries. There's some people mwenye akikuita brother day one uneko comfortable, atakuita brother for the rest of your life. You understand? And there are those who know the boundary of neza kuita brother leo, and then the next minute your hand. You understand? So as we said, you need to know your person. And when we were starting this discussion, I said communication is key. If someone calls you brother and you don't want to be called brother, just tell them. Like, tell them immediately, usinite brother, tusizoeane, unaget. Anaweza itake hata maybe negatively, but at the end of the day, to understand, hey, uni baby girl, na baby girl atakangi kuito brother. And even as they were responding to what I was saying, I was just like, you need to communicate what you want. Okay, mtu ametoka kwenye ametoka, si ametoka from a different background, but we learn. At the end of the day, we keep learning. Mimi story ya gym, hata kwenye nimetoka, kwetu hakuna mtu anaendaga gym, isipokuwa mimi peke yangu. But I will not come into this nini and say, into this life and say, okay, because I didn't do it, because we didn't grow up doing this, we learn. Every day is a learning lesson, and everything. Like hatuwezi sema gati, mimi nakuaga hivyo. You see that thing of, we said, you can't come into a relationship or into this life and say, okay, mimi nakuaga hivyo. So you're not gonna learn, you're not gonna change about it. You become better. Mimi nawapiaga tu example na mimi. I say like 5 years ago, I wasn't who I am today. Like if you'd have told me I'm going to work out, I'm going to be in a stable relationship, I'm going to be, you know, there are things that happen during the way, and you're like, hey, these things can actually be learned on the way. So what I can say is that everything, you have to learn it. So even if you come from a culture that does not appreciate women, that women don't talk, it does not mean that your woman is not going to talk or you're not going to appreciate your woman. Learn along the way. Learn your person. What does my person love? Because at the end of the day, who are you dating? Are you dating this person? Are you dating the other people that are not in this relationship? You're dating your person. Understand your person. Love your person the way they are. And once you appreciate them, because me siwezi kuja kwa relationship seme, okay, mi sipikangi na ni ukweli. I don't like even going to the kitchen. I don't like cooking. But what if my man comes and he likes a woman who loves to cook? I can at least neza sema, okay, 3 times.
Siku watasema si basi angeendea.
No, hapana. Sasa unaona hiyo yenye tunasema si basi angeendea huyo. Unaona hiyo mentality, utajipata uko kwa kiwanja peke yako. Sema, at least 3 times a week, I'm going to cook for this man his favorite meal. I'm going to make time. I'm going to get home early. Maybe I don't get home early. I'm going to, venye tumesema, relationships ni hard work.
And you need to also communicate to them that
and you need
don't
to
like
communicate.
cooking.
I don't like cooking, but
you will.
I'm gonna do like 3 times a week. Unaget. Na mtu mwenye anakupenda, as I keep saying, Safin, someone who loves you, they will accept you the way you are. Venye unakuja tu as a package. So ataanza kuona, na mama siku hizi ana make effort ya 3 times. Okay, chali yangu apendi hiyo PD yenye nani alikuwa anasema, lakini kama mama anapenda kupeleka out, sini kwani nikimpeleka hiyo once a month? Kuna mtu ataumia tukimpeleka once a month. And that's why I was saying, learn your person the way they are and appreciate them the way they are. Kama mimi napenda ku appreciate hivyo, kama mimi napenda flowers, maybe Bobby apendi flowers. Venye tunasema Bobby anapenda flowers, maybe Cutie. The other way around. Bobby anapenda flowers, Cutie apendi flowers, Cutie anapenda chocolate. There was a meme I was sharing on my status like, what do you want for for Valentine's, I want creatine, I want unilipie gym, whatever. nataka nini mayai sita. Una get like, kuna hizo vitu zenye, it was a meme, but in my head I was like, those are the things that I want. I want to keep my protein at bar. I want to take my my collagen increase. I want to do all these things. So maybe your Valentine's, mi staki maua, staki chocolate. Hizo ndo vitu zenye nataka. Imagine zikikamkaa package. Ooh. Imagine zimekamkaa package and I'm like, wow, this man knows me. This man appreciates me.
How about imagine ukimtumia tu spare parts ama mwambie peleka gari service.
Lipa service uleta ticket.
Exactly, those are the things we are saying.
How about Roberta upige tu simu mwambie peleka gari. Mwambie tu peleka gari ifanyiwe service na usimaini. How about that?
Wait.
Siko tu sawa ama.
Wacha tusikize. Nina ngoja hii answer yani. Mi hii answer na ingoja.
Ama amekuwa ki-complain kuna kitu kwa gari kuna shida.
You see what Kitty is talking about still comes back to what I said. It's understanding your person.
Yes.
And the thing is to remove the pressure and the standards of other people on your relationship. That's what I was saying. That you get to understand probably this person has never known that showing up for a woman is something like flowers or gifts, but then they'll show up in other ways. Now, will you put him under pressure to bring a flower when this is how he knows? Maybe he learns along the way. So the same thing, you know, like maybe she doesn't cook. So am I going to put her under pressure to cook just because this is how I think women should show up? So it's the whole thing of you learning the other person and then you develop your own rules and standards. Because this thing of general standards is hurting a lot of relationships.
I agree.
You know what CJ is talking about is very important to know. When it comes to a relationship, 3 is a crowd. Some of our relationships are so overcrowded by listening to what other people are planning. And you are planning to do this, then you listen to another person planning to do this. You think your plan is not okay. Before you even acclimatize to this one, there's another person. Stop overcrowding your relationships. Just be the two of you. And when a relationship is between 2 people who are mature enough, imagine it will work.
It will work.
Let me answer your question. Ken
Are you taking the service?
Hey, it's
full tank.
The fire burning.
Full tank.
Roberta, full tank.
Lipi ya boy child full tank tu mwambie.
Mafuta inaongezwa 14.
Exactly. Fresh at the fire burn when it's only one person trying.
Let me explain how I feel. I like to be in relationships where the consistency is at par because immediately the energy goes down one day. And this happens. It's normal. You're not always at 100. Sometimes you're sad. Sometimes you've lost something. But I like to look at the consistency and how even in that consistency is on the day you're low, you communicate. We tell each other, today I'm not able to show up at all. I have 0, you come with your 100. But I like to keep the relationship consistent. I like for our love languages to be honored as often as possible because this is how I am with my female friends. I was even talking about it on my podcast. You see, with women, the love and romance is consistent. The words of affirmation, the hanging out with each other. My friends cook for me and bring me food at home. They'll send me money and kajibaye kanini. They will send me flowers. I need such friends. They will do. So this romance is something I'm coming from a world that not just from my romantic partner, but from even my mother. She spoils me rotten consistently, and every day. So I'm coming from a point of view where easy vitu ni normal. Ni casual for me. And I'm not just the receiver. Surely for the people to be doing this for me, there's something I'm giving.
Okay. So what are you doing? What are you giving?
So my point is...
Get to the point.
My point is, I just said Valentine's is for the girls. It doesn't mean that I will not do anything for my partner. My partner is feeling this love consistent. It has to be as per his love language. So I'm not coming from a place where I do nothing for him. I don't talk to him. I don't get him anything. I don't pay for the fuel. I don't surprise him with stuff. It's not coming from there. I just feel like this is personal. And that's why Cutie and CJ have kept reiterating that know your person and understand where they're coming from, understand how they want to be loved. mimi personally, isi ya kila mtu naseme mkwe kama mimi na feel, mimi na believe Valentine's ni ya the girls. Hiyo ndio siku.
Ya men ni ya men.
Naweza ifanya 13,
Kuna Valentine's.
naweza ifanya 14 usiku, naweza ifanya 15. Haimaanishi siifanyi. Nasema tu mimi napenda.
Ikuwe siku yako.
Ikuwe siku yako. Na it's not that kwani naifanya peke yangu. Kwani tukienda dinner naenda kudishi peke yangu. Kwani tukienda Dubai nimeenda peke yangu.
Unalipiwa.
You know, it's us together, and even when it's coming time ya kurudisha mkono, I promise he's going to feel the same way or better, because there's no any way relationship can work without the both of you putting in effort or caring about each other or thinking about each other. So the love has to be consistent. And I love it like that, because even when it comes times like Venye Cutie had said, when it comes to your birthday, yani you're so secure because you know this person. He already bought me flowers last week. So honestly, I feel consistently loved throughout the relationship.
All right. Thank you.
It is okay to gift. By the way, women deserve to be gifted during Valentine's, as long as before Valentine's you have already gifted your man also.
Gift you every day.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Every day.
What do you want?
Which gift? Yes. Gift card. Which?
Cutie, I will repeat.
I give you every day. What else do you want?
Safin, you see, if you go by the philosophy of Bobby and Cutie, you realize that men are strangers in relationships.
Thank you so much.
It belongs to the girl. Valentine belongs to the girl. Everything belongs to the girl.
Men's Day, even Men's Day, men are supposed to appreciate.
After the show, guys, we really appreciate your time and company. Let's do this again next week. We hope bado mtakuwa pamoja. We hope mtakuwa pamoja Tuesday. We wish you all the best. I mean, spoil yourselves. Anyway, you go all out. You love each other. And happy Valentine's in advance. Thank you so much for creating time for Social Hour today. My name is Safin Acheng Oma.